Now, I must say it's been positive, if not a little amusing, to see so many media outlets now waking up to the reality that the illicit tobacco market has exploded into a runaway success for organised crime. Now, regular viewers and readers will know that I've been banging on about this for years, that the price of legal cigarettes is far too high due to extortionate tax that the federal government charges on tobacco. I mean, the tax on cigarettes has tripled in a decade, from 47 cents per stick in 2015 to $1.40 today. I mean, an average packet of ciggies will cost you in the order of $50. It's just outrageous. And it has precious little to do with health. It's because the government wants to squeeze as much money as it can out of poor old smokers, and I warned that that would lead to a booming illegal market. And of course, that is exactly what's happened. You can buy an illegal packet of durries in almost any dodgy tobacconist, hordes of which keep popping up across the country every week for less than $20. And the war between the various gangs to control this market has already killed at least 2 people. An innocent woman, Kate Tangney, was killed in Melbourne earlier this year after thugs involved in illicit tobacco firebombed the wrong house. And gangland figure Sam Abdul Rahim, known as the Punisher, who was allegedly involved in the illicit tobacco trade, he tried to muscle in so the other players were after him, was executed in January. Now, 60 Minutes and Four Corners both ran investigations within a day of each other a couple of months ago. Today, it was the Sydney Morning Herald, which pointed out that there are now 20-odd tobacco shops on King Street in Newtown in Sydney, compared to just a handful a decade ago, which is odd, seeing as that fewer than 1 in 10 people smoke now, compared to vastly more a decade ago. And the article notes that while Melbourne has been the centre of most of the violence in the illicit cigarette trade, Sydney has had 2 alleged tobacco-related firebombings this month in Auburn and Mount Pritchard, and police are worried about where things are headed. The war has spread into South Australia too. Again, I told you so. I mean, there was no way it was simply going to stop in Melbourne without the illegal market being stopped in its tracks, and the only way to do that is to stop taxing it so much that it turns people to the illicit product. I mean, they're not doing it because they want to be petty criminals. They're doing it because they're addicted and they can't afford the legal one. What do you expect them to do? Even people within the Victorian Police are now asking the federal government why they can't at least freeze the tax.
Jason Kelly from Victoria Police Minister, thank you for the presentation. A lot of members of the community just don't understand why we can't pause the tax or at least reduce the tax, because the illicit market and organised crime are really reaping the benefits.
And it's a really tough one. I get that. So the difficulty we have with that proposal, it involves raising the white flag on this question and basically allowing criminals to dictate the legal price and the revenue arrangements that the Commonwealth would have.
The SMH said that nearly 40% of tobacco consumption across Australia was illicit last year, according to an industry commissioned report by FTI Consulting, an increase of 28.6% on 2023. A whopping $17.6 billion of revenue has been wiped off the federal budget's forward estimates, all lost tobacco tax in the past year alone. The mid-year economic update, which of course we got at the end of last year, downgraded tobacco excise revenue by $2.8 billion this financial year and $10.7 billion over the 4 years to 27-28, ostensibly because so much of the market is being lost to the untaxed product pushed by organised crime gangs. March federal budget, that wiped another $1.3 billion off this year's tobacco tax and another $6.9 billion to 28-29. Not because they've stopped smoking, because they found a cheaper product that's funding organised crime and all its grisly activities. So I'm glad that people are starting to wake up, but this has been coming for years. I've been talking about it for years, and the federal government has done nothing to stop it. They've kept doing exactly the same thing, increasing the tax, and then wondering why it gets worse.